parked her car on the other side of the street. Brandon was the meanest boy. He packed his magic 8-balls fastidiously. Sometimes his nightmares outlived his shrines. The tourmaline derby. Jezebel, pick up your wands. Ego function. To protect one's own shield, you must learn to live longer. Longer than anyone who has ever lived. Spiral leap to the equator. My birth mother had pigtails when she nervously gravied the outer limits of the cesspool. Pure, impure principles, like a shot glass catching fire. The way we bend ourselves into trigger poses. This magazine stand, that magazine stand, this magazine stand, that magazine stand. It's so silly how we drown them in the drain like rubber toys. How with condoms in their hands, the boys in London whispered that they could never go down that one particular alley ever again. It was a sheepskin fear that kept them, the fear of sliding one rubber onto the firmest member of the Yardley team. His claws come out with the summer sun. It makes sense to choose one's teacher carefully. They are lined in rows. It's easier to see them, their faces like mug shots. Once you pick your candidate, the rest fall to rot. I chant your name and Rosemary fixes her steel gaze out the window. She is the one who can think for herself. Don't confuse obedience to your teacher with childish dependency. This happens all the time, how they cower at the feet of their voodoo gods and give in to the wishes of every charlatan who awaits them. I have proof that we all wear rags. Here is my torn dress made of semen, mucus, clouds. Here is a lampshade figurine, the causal body and its seeds. There is pitch powder in this wish, Iota Pigeon of the morning. Why do you keep your feet planted? Why are you unlinked to the other birds? Why do you keep the winter intact and its last solstice like an ember behind the market? Mark this place, crumble without a voice, in command, seismograph, beneath Peter, push, push, this is the standing, a yellow dragon. I gazed at a lighted incense stick, which I later replaced with a crystal ball to arouse quick fire. The moment the fire listened to the warning of the crows, the silver lining was black, and the nests of the herons were a pigment other than the one we saw on the train as we looked out the window. You charlatan, you were trying to steal the most earthly piece of stone from the river, and all the birds noticed. They all became pelicans so they could stand tall. And you are the liar who called them zoo creatures. I am trying to forget this. Vibrate strongly. Pull your ashen cord up to the sky. If you can keep your thoughts here long enough, you will receive inspiration. If you calculate too much, money will not be benevolent. Therefore, saliva is the most precious thing and requires our ultimate strength. Knowing this, keep your tired hands from petrifying the wood of the forest. Jane went to the hemisphere and everything crowded in around her. She dressed in honeycomb clothes and a sapphire string was her coffin cord. Chapter 4 teaches circulating through the cardinal points from A to D, G and J. Chapter 6 teaches the ascent of positive and negative fire and also circulating through the 4 cardinal points A, D, G, and J. I have hidden here before where no one could find me. I called it a hiding place, but it was only a prison cord, and I hid safely in the park, and you collected all the seeds, and we both walked to the bay. The older story left where it was living, only to return to the place of the latter context grave plot. A potter's grave where all the polio-infested, lice-worm-infested, into the radium fields, store-bought graves, the mysterious gate and the genuine gate are neither here nor there. In Hackensack, all the school children ran into the breezy streetway to loiter by the 7-Eleven. Without reason, I stole his rubber boots and ran into the rain. I wanted to visit the lilac corner store where the impregnated moss trees are bearing their most delicious fruits. Just Jessica and Joe jumped onto a riverboat on a steamy day in Georgia. It felt like a plantation tour to see the country that September. Everyone was shoving bullets down another person's throat, and the startled people stayed at home, milking